Hi, it's Scott. ROCKFILE back with another podcast for you. Let's talk about the new Grammy nominations that came out this week. Now, although I have an opinion on pretty much all of the Grammy nominations, because I program multiple different formats and I enjoy different kinds of music, I'm going to focus on the rock and metal nominations because that's my expertise. I have much more knowledge in that genre, and I work daily and live in that genre more than pop, country, or any of the other things that I program and I'm familiar with. I think overall, a lot of the Grammy Awards for the more popular categories, like Pop Song of the Year and things like that, were accurate as far as the biggest songs of the year, which they should be. I think a lot of those pop awards, country awards, R&B awards should be some of the more popular things that came out in the year. That doesn't mean like great songs that didn't quite make it can't be nominated as well. I think there's a lot of albums, artists, and titles like that as well in the awards. And I think that's one of the good things about the Grammy Awards. And it always has been that they have more people voting on it than just the genre that they're in, so to speak. Country people can vote on some of the other awards and that kind of thing. That also, when you're an aficionado of a particular genre, you may have a problem with certain bands getting shoved into a particular category that they don't really fit, as we have with bands like St. Vincent or Idols. Both talented and unique artists, but they're in rock categories where they should not be. Anyway. Long story short, let's go over them. Best rock album nominees are the Black Crowes' Happiness Bastards, the Fontaines D.C. with Romance, Green Day's Saviors, Idol's Tangic, Pearl Jam's Dark Matter, the Rolling Stones' Hackney Diamonds, and Jack White, No Name. Black Crowes' Happiness Bastards returned to form for the band. It's the best album they put out in a long time. Deserves the nomination. One of their best albums? No, but a good album, and a really good one from them. Fontaines D.C. Did not hear the album. Did not get sent to me at rock radio. Not singles, not album, not nothing. They're an alternative band, right? Anyway. Green Day Saviors. Not a Green Day fan. Strong album from the band. One of their betters. One of their best albums to me is American Idiot. That one I can still listen to. And again, I'm not. Dookie is also a good album. I'm just not the biggest Green Day fan, but I thought this was a decent album. Okay, nomination, I'll give you that. Idols. This is not the first time I've had to look up this band. I actually played one of their songs years ago, briefly, on my internet rock station, but they call themselves a punk band. They are a punk band. And although Green Day is also considers themselves a bit of a punk band, they are more punk rock than the Idols, which are just pretty much straight punk. They call themselves punk rock too. But anyway, I don't know why that's in here. No rock stations played it. This was the same thing I talked about last year. I work in rock radio. I see the rock charts every week. There are songs on the rock chart that some rock stations don't play because they don't fit their particular station, that kind of thing. But I pay attention to all the songs every week, every month, every year. Idols, Fontaines D.C., St. Vincent. Nobody's played those in the rock world. Those have not been sent to rock radio. We have not been given those to possibly put on the air, to talk about whatever. So how these got nominated in these categories, I have no idea. But, we don't really have a whole lot of alternative categories anymore, do we? To continue with Best Rock Albums, Pearl Jam's Dark Matter also returned to form for the band. Actually, my favorite album since Versus. And that was a long time ago, so I think it's a great album. Rolling Stones' Hackney Diamonds. Not even close to one of their best albums. I think this is one of those cases where, Jethro Tull and Metallica got nominated just because they hadn't been before. This Rolling Stones is nominated because of the Rolling Stones, but in no way, shape, or form was that a great album. Jack White, No Name. Bit of a fan. I think he's good. I really got into him after he did that documentary with Edge and Jimmy Page. But I don't think this was one of his best albums. It's not one that I just keep listening to over and over. I thought it was decent. So out of the nominees, the Black Crowes, Green Day, and Pearl Jam would be my three choices, and I'd probably have to give it to Pearl Jam. Just as far as it's creative, it's interesting. It sounds like them, but it sounds like them evolved. Second category in the rock vein, I guess. Best rock performance includes the Beatles' Now and Then, the Black Keys' Beautiful People Stay High, Green Day's The American Dream Is Killing Me, Idol's Gift Horse, Pearl Jam Dark Matter, and St. Vincent Broken Man. Mentioning again that Idol's Gift Horse and St. Vincent Broken Man, not only am I familiar with the bands, but I went back and listened to these songs before I did this podcast. Neither one are what I would consider rock songs or I would play on a rock radio station. So to me, they are not best rock performances. If there was a category for best alternative performance, maybe, but I'm not as well versed. The other ones, the Beatles. This was a song that was put together from demos and unreleased stuff. I don't usually consider that any kind of performance. That's archaeology. It's not a bad song in any stretch of the form, but the title of the award is Best Rock Performance. The Beatles Now and Then is not that. The Black Keys, Beautiful People Stay High. This was one I was on the fence on when we played it on the radio. It really doesn't sound like rock radio, but we did play this for a while. It's a good video, it's a good song, and they're a very good band. I would leave this on the list. I don't think it's out of place. It's just it wasn't a big rock song, rock hit, but it is a good one. Green Day, The American Dream is Killing Me. It's the biggest hit at rock radio the band has had in quite some time. It's also one of the best songs off the Saviors album. I give that one a yes. Idol's Gift Horse. Again, a song I listened to, as I mentioned earlier, with St. Vincent Broken Man, and I just don't think it belongs on this list. Pearl Jam's Dark Matter, the title track from the new album. It was the first single off the album. I think Waiting for Stevie and Wreckage are better singles, but I think Dark Matter is a rock song. As one of my salespeople walked in the other day and said, that new Pearl Jam, it's kind of heavy for them, right? I'm like, yeah. They did the album in Dolby Atmos. It really is a creative work. I really like the album. I haven't really loved a Pearl Jam album since the 90s, so that's a big deal. I'm calling this one a tie. Green Day, American Dream is Killing Me, and Pearl Jam's Dark Matter are both two of the biggest rock songs of the year. They're two of the best rock performances of the year. I would be happy with either one of those getting it. Don't know why Dirty Honey is not on this list. Thirdly, for Best Rock Song, you have the Black Keys song, Beautiful People, Broken Man by St. Vincent, Dark Matter by Pearl Jam, Dilemma by Green Day, and Gift Horse by the Idols. If you take out Idols and St. Vincent, which I don't think belong under the rock category, you have the Black Keys, which is a decent song. We've discussed that. A lot of writers on that song, the whole band, 4 members of the band. Dark Matter, all written by the entire band and their producer, and Dilemma, written by the guys in Green Day. Dilemma was a rock single, but we didn't play it. It wasn't as good as The American Dream is Killing Me or anything they've released since, but that song was a bit of a hit. But I got to give it to Dark Matter for the same reason, Best Rock Performance. It is the title track from their best album in years. It's a strong song. It's really good, so I'm going to pick that one. Last but not least, we have a category called Best Metal Performance. This is one that over the years they've gotten really wrong in some cases. Overall, I think this is right. You've got Gojira's Mea Culpa, which was the performance they did at the Olympics. Crown of Horns from Judas Priest. Suffocate from Knocked Loose featuring Poppy. Screaming Suicide by Metallica, and Cellar Door, Spirit Box. Knocked Loose is not really a metal band, and Poppy is definitely not a metal artist, so I'll take that one out. Spirit Box is on they're more gothic progressive metal, if you will. Not a bad song and not a bad band, but I think crushed by the Gojira, the Judas Priest, and the Metallica. The Judas Priest, Crown of Horns, comes off Invincible Shield. That is their latest album. They have said there's going to be another album. The last 2 albums, the band has been firing on all cylinders. It's creative. It's good. It may not be your cup of tea, but as Judas Priest albums go, they're really good. It's a really solid Judas Priest album, and Crown of Horns was a hit at rock radio. What does that tell you? So anyway, that gets tied. Screaming Suicide from Metallica. It's a song they casually released when the album first came out over a year ago. They officially released it as a single in 2024. It is a song they wanted to write because nobody will talk about that topic. I've noticed when the Grammy Award posts went up, they put a line through suicide because that's just something that the AI and the algorithms now flag, which I think is a little ridiculous. We should be able to talk about this subject. And that's kind of what the whole song is about. It is one of the best songs on 72 seasons, and there's a reason why, that it was released once and then again and became one of the biggest songs off the album. I would have a hard time with either one not winning. Crown of Horns, Judas Priest, if you haven't listened to that one yet, it has an incredible intro. Just guitar chord, really good sounding fat guitar chords, and it builds this kind of grandiose intro into the song. Metallica Screaming Suicide is the exact opposite. It's stripped down, it's just raw Metallica, and it's really good. Best metal performance, either one of those. And I got to say, I'm a fan of Gojira. They are a bit heavy for most people's taste, but Mea Culpa was like nothing we've ever seen before, and kudos to them for pulling it off. I'd be happy with all three of those winning the award. Can we do a three-way tie on Best Metal Performance? Anyway, like I said, maybe I'll do a podcast about some of the other awards. We could talk about the controversy of Beyonce being nominated for country awards. Not that her album was bad. It's more pop than country to me, but anyway. Two other categories that nobody's going to be talking about, but I'll talk about them because I'm huge into both of these. One is Best Engineered Album Non-Classical. I think that is a very, very important award. It was given, what was it, last year or the year before, to Phineas and Billie Eilish. They recorded their albums basically in their bedrooms. That you can do that with modern technology and win the Best Engineered Album Non-Classical is a major step forward in recording technology. Some of the things that are up for Best Engineered Album, I got to be honest, I haven't heard. Lucky Day, Charlotte Day Wilson, Casey Musgraves, Willow, and Sabrina Carpenter I did hear. Man, the people that worked on Sabrina Carpenter. Wow, that's a lot of people. Anyway, the one that I'm most interested in, Best Engineered Album, is I.O. from Peter Gabriel. I think it's astonishingly good. From a creative standpoint on how it was mixed and mastered in stereo and in Dolby Atmos, there are 3 mixes to the album. There's like a day mix, a night mix, and then there is a inside mix. The inside mix is the Atmos mix, and that's why they call it that. All 3 of them sound so good on any stereo system, whether you're playing it on a little boom box or a Bluetooth speaker, or you're playing it on a 5.1 or a Dolby Atmos surround sound system. I've played them in radio studios. I've played them in my home studios. I.O. It is going to be added to the albums that I play to test things. It sounds that good. And that to me is the definition of a Best Engineered Album Non-Classical. The other award, Best Immersive Audio Album. I think it is amazing that we still don't have some categories, but we have an immersive audio, which is basically used to be the surround sound category. My rock star that I like a lot, Steven Wilson, has many, many Grammy nominations in Best Immersive Album. But he didn't get one this year, which I think is interesting. Who did get it? There was a Ray Charles project that was done in Dolby Atmos. The Trondheim Symphony Orchestra was done in Dolby Atmos. Ensemble 96 and the Current Saxophone Quartet was also done in an Atmos mix. But the two I'm most concerned with are Bob Clearmountain's mix of Roxy Music's Avalon and the immersive mix of Peter Gabriel's I.O. They are both fantastic and elevate the music. I'm surprised Pearl Jam's Dark Matter is not in here. Or Steven Wilson's The Harmony Codex, but I guess it actually came out the year before. To me, a good immersive mix elevates the mix. I have Dolby Atmos 5.1 and 7.1 at home, so I can decode those fairly accurately and hear the intent of the artist. I've been collecting surround sound music since the 90s. I love immersive audio. But this year, with the advent of more people working in Dolby Atmos and the fact that it doesn't sound like 5.1, that it literally creates a sound bubble around your head, you haven't heard anything until you've heard Avalon by Roxy Music or Peter Gabriel's I.O. in surround sound. It elevates the albums. It takes them to a new level that the stereo mix doesn't do. And the stereo mixes for those are both incredible. They've been remastered. They sound great. Brian Ferry was involved in all the Avalon mixes. Peter Gabriel and Brian Eno were involved in all the mixes for the Peter Gabriel album. So the artists were involved in where the instruments were placed in this soundscape that it creates. And if you've never experienced Dolby Atmos, I would highly recommend it, but you could get started with 5.1 today pretty cheaply. Anyway, Avalon, Roxy Music, I.O., Peter Gabriel. I'd give a hair to the Peter Gabriel. It's a new thing that sounds new. Avalon has been remastered so that it does sound very new, and Bob Clearmountain is one of our best mixers in immersive audio. But I'd give a hair to the Peter Gabriel. But if either one wins, I'm in. I wish there were more in these kind of categories and more technical things, but I understand that's, some magazines and websites do that kind of thing. We're talking about Grammy Awards. And for me, the finished product is what's important with music. We can like or not like the artist. We can not like the chords or the songwriting or whatever. But at the end of the day, these Grammy Awards need to be for the best of the best, and not just the most popular. And like I said, in a lot of the other awards I didn't talk about, I think they're pretty spot on. But for the Rock Awards, We hit more this year than we missed, so kudos to them for that. Those are the ones I'm pulling for. What are you liking? Let me know. I'm Scott. I'm ROCKFILE. Thanks for listening to a long Grammy podcast. There are more on the way. Have a spectacular day.